All right, it's episode 121 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast presented by Blue Wire. It's just me and Hayden today. How we doing, buddy?
Rock on, it's fucking good. It's a nice chiller episode today.
Yeah. No other guests on the line here, but we're coming off a high. No, week one done. Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights done. Some of the primetime games besides Thursday, kind of weak sauce to be honest.
They were all kind of weak.
The Thursday night provided a roller coaster of entertainment, but for the most part, below expectations, you'd say.
100% below expectations. It was just like, okay, it's 10-10 at the half. Why isn't there more scoring? And then the Bills just decided to play while the Rams decided to sit Cam Akers, and Matthew Stafford is a racist. So
Starting this episode off hot there, bud.
oh yeah. By the way, I'm just kidding. Matt Stafford isn't a racist. He threw to Calvin Johnson for many, many years. And only Calvin Johnson.
That one post, and it was like even a racist with the Calvin Johnson.
Oh, when I saw that, I just laughed. I was like, yeah,
That's
yeah.
so funny. But no, yeah, it was a NFL week one full of highs and lows. Um, your team coming out on top. My team unfortunately didn't. But we're gonna kick it off with the Thursday night football game because we previewed that episode, but we haven't talked about it yet. Um, we did preface in the KBNR episode that we recorded that
Yeah.
the right team won. Close game, came down to the end.
Yeah, not close at all.
No,
There was no controversial call.
that PI in the fourth quarter was gonna play big, but it literally did not.
I don't even think there was any like
No,
pass interference calls in
no,
that game.
yeah, it was not. We recorded that episode on Tuesday, I believe.
Monday.
Monday. 3 days before that. 2 days before the game actually was played, so we had no idea what happened. No, but like you said earlier, it was 10-10 at the half. There was what, 4 turnovers? Four. Is that a four
Something
or six
crazy like
turnovers in the
that.
first half? Allen had 2 picks. Stafford has 2 picks. I'm pretty sure. It was 4 total turnovers, or I'm pretty sure it was 6. I
Three or four like at the
yeah
half, like six, yeah, to end the game. It
I
was,
yeah
and some of them weren't even like Stafford's fault. Or one of them at least wasn't Stafford's. One of them wasn't Josh Allen's fault. Like it was just right place, right time for the defenders, and fumbles away, and just like, oh my god, man, this is why you play your starters in the preseason. Like you can clearly tell the only one on the Rams that was actually serviceable was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was amazing, of course, from the slot position, like he always is. It dominates, anyone on the inside, and that toe tap touchdown was just chef's kiss
yeah it was wonderful. So I got it up here. There was 4 turnovers
for the
in the
whole game.
in the first half.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it started off with the Bills interception. I'm pretty sure that was to
That was
Isaiah
the Isaac
McKinnon's,
McKenzie. Yeah.
which not Allen's fault at all.
No.
Completely bounced off his chest. You got to make that catch. And then James Cook fumbled. And then on his first carry of his
First
NFL
carry of his
career,
NFL career. Yeah.
and then Stafford threw a pick, and then Allen threw a pick. So 2 turnovers each,
No.
and
3 turnovers by Buffalo and 1 by LA in the first half.
you're correct. And then yeah, and then it was just
2 more for
2 more. So it was just a crazy game. Buffalo Bills come out on top, 31-10. What stood out to you this game?
Well, I have my whole thing of notes right here. The Bills look amazing. Josh Allen clearly is on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
He has something to prove for this whole year, and if I was in his position, I feel the same way. And Ken Dorsey, maybe not talked about enough. He I don't know, but he looked like he's carrying on whatever Brian Dable had going on, and like it showed that whole second half, I want to say, not really much the first half, but that whole second half, getting Josh Allen on the rollout and that deep pass to Diggs, um, just shows that once he moves out, the receivers have a free range to just go, okay, let's get open.
Yeah.
And that's all what it was last year. And then the Rams, I don't want to say it too early, but maybe potential Super Bowl hangover. And I'm gonna overreact to Akers, Robinson, Stafford, and Ramsey all looking like absolute dog water.
I definitely think I think Cam Akers, I don't know what that situation was. He
That's
looked he
tough.
looked good when he came back from his Achilles injury. He looked super dynamic, super electric, looked like he was running the ball with purpose. And coming in all offseason, coming into week 1, he was projected to get at least majority of the share.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I do think Henderson works better as a 1B when he's not getting majority of the load. But Akers comes in, 3 carries, 0 yards. He had 0 all-purpose yards because I
Yeah,
remember he got a reception as well, but he was stuffed
but
at the
yeah,
line.
yeah, he
It was
was
a screen
stuffed.
pass stuffed. And then Henderson, he was the only one who's obviously Buffalo's defensive line was unreal this game, but Henderson looked like he had a lot more, like a bigger chip on his shoulder, like he's given a reason to play
Mm-hmm.
and he has to show out. He took advantage of his opportunities. I'm pretty sure he had upwards around 50 rushing yards. So nothing spectacular, but
But at least he did
he
something.
yeah, he took advantage of his opportunities. Akers didn't. He got benched because he literally gave up a sack to Ed Oliver.
Yep, that was pretty bad.
And look, Akers isn't going to stop Oliver, but you got to put your body in front of him
You
to
literally just have to stand in the
yeah,
way and maybe slow him down.
exactly. And I just think McVay got outcoached,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't like LA just simply got outplayed. And you bring up the rollout pass from Allen, but it was the back shoulder pass to Diggs on the sideline that really I was like, all right, this guy's he's making all the throws. He's not just a deep ball thrower, but like that was great coverage by Ramsey. It was just a throw where only Allen's guy could get it.
You can't beat a
And
perfect pass and a
yeah,
perfect catch.
exactly. So it was Buffalo came out firing. They were playing like the Super Bowl favorites. Allen was playing like the MVP favorite. And Buffalo's defense, yes, they were the best like net defense last year, but they played better than what my expectations were for them.
100%.
Von Miller was
An
back to his
impact.
he was Denver Broncos Von Miller.
Yeah.
Like he was a savage all
Two
game,
sacks.
even with that terrible haircut.
What is that triangle, dude?
Uh,
It's the Bermuda Triangle
yeah,
on his head.
it,
Oh.
it was like he went to his barber and just said, "Fuck my whole shit up," and he listened.
He's like, yo, whatever your favorite shape is, do that on my
Yeah,
head.
and just surprised me.
Yeah, he
But
did.
yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
But I mean, look, I'm not gonna overreact with LA as a whole because I still think that they are a good football team. They're still gonna make the playoffs because they
NFC
are
West.
a product of not just the NFC West, just the NFC as a whole because it is pretty thin. But and the Rams are too good to miss the playoffs. But I definitely expected better.
At least a more like competitive or like spread the rock around. Like
Hmm.
my biggest flaw or the biggest takeaway that I had from this game wasn't even like Cam Akers. Okay, if you're playing like shit, you're getting benched.
Every
If
running
you're
back's
not
had one of those games.
exactly, if you don't have the hot hand, you don't have the hot hand. That's
Yeah.
fine. But man, what was like all that shit about Allen Robinson being a camp favorite, and then Stafford just says, no.
Yeah.
Actually, like I'm gonna go to the guy I have breakfast with every day. And it wasn't like Robinson was getting blanketed. It wasn't like he was getting double covered. He was open on most routes that he ran. It's just obviously you got to chalk some up to no time, maybe for the offensive line. But then on other occasions, like the one where Stafford scrambled for a first down, he had Robinson wide open, and it's like you could have got an extra 4 yards.
Hmm.
It's like 4 yards might not seem like a lot, but 4 yards is the matter of like a whole first run play.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't see that being the whole season. Obviously, it's just overreaction because that's what you do as an NFL fan. And yeah, I don't even know. It could be a bad situation that they were in, maybe because the Bills are actually really, really good, or just maybe Stafford and Derek Carr have really one thing in common:
And what's that?
only targeting one receiver. I have a crazy stat that I looked up.
Yeah, it was just crazy because you saw the success that Odell had in LA, and they just like obviously the torn ACL. If he didn't tear his ACL, Odell is there instead of A
Oh,
Rob.
100%.
But it's just weird because you saw the electric connection that Stafford had with Odell immediately, but now LA had a full training camp with Stafford,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, there's a lot of hype around Robinson and
Mm-hmm.
Stafford, but come week one, it's just
Dud.
nothing. So I expect way more from Robinson because he's one of the more overlooked receivers. He's been in nothing but bad situations his whole career. Maybe a couple years in Jacksonville that weren't terrible
Yeah,
when
Bortles had that one good year.
they were basically riding the coattails of the defense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of hard to fall flat when you're playing
Such good
behind them.
defense. Yeah.
So, but now you got one of the better all-around teams in the league in the Rams. They got top-tier offense and defense. I just think it was a tough week one. I knew the Bills were winning this game. That was my pick all
Mm-hmm.
off season. I just had this gut feeling. But I think LA is way better than what they displayed week one. And I think Bills, they were just, this is the Bills team I was expecting.
Yeah.
And that's not like, I don't see them not getting any better than this because any team can play better than their best.
Oh, yeah. And you get
But
better as the season progresses.
this is the start you wanted for Buffalo.
100%. Coming
So
out and just crushing the Super Bowl champs
yeah,
on banner night.
exactly. So it's gonna be an interesting season to see how the Rams play out, and then I can't wait for Bills to lose that random week 11 10 a.m. game to like Houston or something.
Yeah, some
Like
shit
10
team.
like 10 to 7 or some bullshit like that.
Yep.
So it's gonna happen, but it's just a matter of when. We'll go to your boys and one of the bigger
Ooh,
division rivals in the NFL. It's a one was heavy.
you might say the
Um,
biggest.
it was one of the heaviest rivalries for years because you had Julio on one side, Drew Brees on the other, two polarizing athletes for their generation. Your Saints come back and win 27-26
Mm-hmm.
over the Atlanta Falcons, and talk about a game of two different halves.
you,
Like
you couldn't have said it any better.
it was unbelievable. Me, you, Donald, Donnie were watching at their place, and Donald was like, it was
he
he
never he never was like, yeah, we're winning this game.
yeah
He had high moments.
he always like but like he was like more excited than ever. Like the 4 sacks they got in the
Oh,
first
of
half, like he was
course.
like a kid on Christmas watching this team play, which is something I wasn't expecting going over to their house for week one. But no, yeah, Atlanta. I think this was despite the losses, is a massive win for Atlanta because they've played competitive. Obviously, you want to come away with a win, especially against the Saints. But this was still such, you gave your fans something for at least part of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and let alone a half, 3/4 of the game. And it was just a fun thing to kind of look forward to because you're not expecting too much. But other than that, like, what did you see as a fan of the Saints? What did you see from this game that like you didn't like at the start, you liked? Like, what are some things that you took away from this game going forward?
Before I say what I liked and what I didn't like, I just have a couple of crazy stats for you.
Hit me.
This is the first time since 2005 that a Saints and Falcons game has not been played with either Drew Brees or Matt Ryan.
Wow,
That's 17 years
that's crazy.
of having that matchup, and now it's done. It's over with. It's two first overall not two first overall picks, the first and second overall pick from the same year, who are now on this team or on these teams that are facing up against each other, and it was absolutely electrifying. Couldn't ask for anything better. And then another crazy stat. I think it was like two teams leading by 15 points um in the latter half of the second half are 282 2-1. That's wins, ties, losses. That's every 31 teams in the NFL since I think it was like 2000 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Now, the Falcons, since that as well, are 5-3.
Oh my.
And that was just from 2020. Like, I don't know what it is, but I don't want to say that in this game I ever felt like the Saints were done. I thought the Saints were done as soon as it was 26-10. But then I was just like, holy shit, it's Atlanta. And what have they been doing the past 5-7 years? Blowing leads.
Yeah.
And I was at the lowest of lows. It was almost like I had just accepted the fate that it just wasn't going to happen. Like week one just wasn't going to be a win. But you know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of the Saints versus Texans Monday night game 3 years or so back. The Saints were down, and then it was like 30-28. Or no, it was 23-28 New Orleans. Deshaun Watson comes down and scores and leaves Drew Brees like 40 seconds with no timeouts on the clock. And it's like, oh my God, are you serious? It's in New Orleans too. Like, what the fuck is happening? And then Drew Brees leads a great drive all the way down to, I don't even know, like the 43-yard line. And somehow the Texans just decided to play prevent. And then Lutz made a game-winning field goal. And that matches up. Lutz made a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
But obviously got a huge block at the end from Peyton Turner and a little bit more help. But that was the 2018 season. And I don't want to say it's the 2018 season now. No, I'm kidding. But no, this game was an emotional roller coaster, and that is my whole 2 cents on this whole game.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know who was gonna come out on top. Like I just had a feeling that with the Saints' momentum at the time of the game, like it started, I just had a feeling they were gonna win because they're just a much better team who got off to a bad start.
Mm-hmm.
But Slant Boy is back. Found the end zone
Oh my
twice.
fucking God.
Found the end zone twice. He was one of my. I went over fantasy winners and losers on radio today. He was one of the winners just because he made a really big impact, scoring half of the Saints' points
Mm-hmm.
himself. But I expect games exactly like that from him. Maybe not a ton of receiving yards, but he's going to make an impact in the red zone.
Another crazy one. AJ Terrell. That was his first time ever being scored on, and it happened twice. Now, when did AJ Terrell come into the league? The same year Michael Thomas was injured. So, I think it's going to be a nice matchup for at least another couple more years. Yeah. Mike Thomas is back, and everyone who said that Slant Boy was not a thing. Guess how many slant passes he caught? None.
0.
Guess how many he was thrown to? 1. Every other catch was a fade, a post, or an in.
Well, in is close to slant, so we'll take it. Browns Panthers, one of the revenge games of the weekend. Lots, I think even Cleveland Browns fans were cheering for Carolina this weekend. One thing I want to talk about, because Browns did squeeze out the 26-24 victory. They were down in the last drive. They were down by 1, 24-23, and there was something with the clock.
Yep.
It didn't start or it didn't keep going. Something about the clock stayed in the Browns' favor to give them enough time
Yeah, there was the clock, and then there was another thing that happened as well. Jacoby Brissett, he fake spiked it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and then he like looked up and then spiked it, which is illegal.
It is illegal.
Like you can't do that, and it should have been a 10-second runoff.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, and also a penalty to back them up to make the rookie kickers kick even longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I found that one a little bit weird and strange,
Because
but
that's maybe like I don't know if it was just like the refs didn't catch it, it wasn't conclusive, but like I saw the replay and Brissett did like hesitate. Like he went
mhm.
down, came back up and then threw it back down again. And that's to me I saw that and I was like maybe because I knew what I was looking for, but I saw that and he spikes happened right away. Sometimes it even looks like it didn't they didn't do it because
Yeah,
the
because
ball
it
bounces,
pops up right in their
right?
hand. Yeah.
But he did it, or I guess didn't do it. But then he like popped up and then he went back down and spiked it. And I was
Mhm.
like, you can't do that.
No, you can't. And
And
and not to try and quickly bring it back here to the Saints versus Falcons game, but you remember when Jameis did that because of the whole Landry situation? I actually went back. He was touched down before he fell out. So that spike should have counted. So I think it's just the refs need to kind of get back in gear, like there was a lot of sloppy missed calls, a lot of sloppy um no calls. And this was a huge no call considering that Cleveland won the game, considering that Baker put in a huge last drive
mm-hmm.
for the Panthers, and now you already kind of got ref ball heading up, and that I'm not gonna try and make it personal, but it ruined a bet for me. So,
It always goes down to where you put your money
uh
for sure. Um, Big nights from how much did what-
McCaffrey had a decent day. He had that like weird shotgun snap where Baker fumbled it and McCaffrey just picked it up and whoosh.
yeah. So Baker ended the night with 235 yards passing and a touchdown and interception, 16 for 27. Wanted more, but it is what it is. Kareem Hunt had a big day. He had a passing
Huge
and
day.
receiving touchdown, 46 yards on the ground, 24 in the air. He's just, even as an RB2, he's making an impact everywhere.
He has RB1 potential. And
Yeah.
then Nick Chubb, 141 rush yards against the Carolina defense.
Yeah.
Like
Nick Chubb is one of the best pure runners in the league.
I think he is
And
the best
yeah,
pure runner. He's
he
purely north and south, and he does not care about
yeah,
contact.
he always lights it up. Not a big, doesn't catch any of the air. That's why they got Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But with the impact Chubb makes on the ground, you don't need him to do anything in the
No.
air. We're gonna go over to an upset, probably the biggest upset of the week, in my opinion. Chicago, projected to be one of the worst teams in the league this year, defeats Trey Lance and the 49ers in 5 inches of rain. I remember
Mm-hmm.
you saying. So yes, I am a Trey Lance truther. I think he is gonna be good. This isn't any excuse because he did play bad, but I don't believe in judging anyone in those types of conditions. Those 5 inches of rain is like, especially for a quarterback, it's
It's
something
hell.
like, yes, you can still like, dude, you got to play better, but you can't change any sort of fate, opinion, confirm any opinion, whichever on this type of game. In my opinion, Trey Lance didn't play well, 13 for 28, 164 yards passing and an interception as well as a fumble. He did run for 54 yards as well. But I think he's going to have better games. And I think it's too early to put any preface on him. But as a team game, this is a bad loss by the 49ers.
Oh, terrible.
And like when Dante Pettis, his touchdown, when he left him with literally the closest person was like 30 yards away from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's inexcusable.
Yes.
It's for 49ers defense. You can't let that happen. And I think they're I think 49ers are going to play better for the rest of the season. I think Trey Lance is going to have better games. And I just think this was just such a hard game to judge anyone on because even Deebo Samuel didn't have the best game, and he's one of the best offensive threats in the league. So that's my 2 cents. I still think Chicago sucks, and um, I just think it was they kind of benefited on their in conditions like they've played in more than San Fran.
Yeah.
No one's played in 5 inches of rain, but
No,
Chicago's played closer to 5 inches in rain than San Fran probably has.
I
So
agree.
they kind of knew how to manipulate their systems and stuff like that to benefit from it. But inexcusable for San Fran. You can't lose this. Um,
You know what though, but actually kind of like a yes and no sort of deal with that. Because Fields and Lance have only been in the league for 2 years.
yeah,
It's both their second year. Obviously, Lance didn't start like Fields did last year, but I'm gonna give my flowers more or less to Chicago. These are both two very young teams, and everyone's played in the rain. Everyone's dealt with stuff in the rain. I think the coaching from San Francisco was just a little bit bad.
mm-hmm,
They played their game, but their game also involves a lot of strategy on the offense. Especially if it's like that pissed down rain, simplify it.
yeah,
Don't have Debo Samuel taking it on a jet sweep or anything like that, like somewhere where it can easily get messed up because obviously turning to the side is a lot more different than turning right behind and seeing your guy.
yeah,
So I feel like they just overcomplicated things where Chicago didn't. Chicago played to the weather and like yeah, San Fran's defense, man, like there was no one between both receivers that caught a touchdown.
yeah.
And I I kind of agree with the tweet that said like Fields is going to make San Fran regret not choosing him in the draft, and what a statement
Yeah.
for this game. I feel
I
like
do think that Fields is like 49ers should have drafted Fields, but I still think Trey Lance is gonna do good because that was his fourth start since like 2019.
no, since last year.
Well, like no, since 2019.
How
He
so?
sat out COVID year and he started a few games last year.
Wasn't he just drafted last year?
His rookie he started a
Wasn't
couple
his
games
rookie
last
year
year.
last year?
Yeah, he started a couple games last year,
So that
but
was
he
his
didn't.
2021 season.
Yeah, and then he sat out COVID season, so it's his fourth start since his 2019 season.
Was he drafted in the COVID season?
He sat out the COVID season and
Did
then
he?
was drafted and then
It's
played
been that long already?
2020. And then his
Holy
rookie year was
fuck.
2021.
Oh my god.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
I do, but I didn't feel like it's been that long since he was drafted. I thought he was drafted last year. I thought his rookie year was last year.
It was.
So that's 2021 season.
Yeah.
So you're saying he sat out the
He sat out
2020
he sat out 2020.
college season?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind.
I said he sat out drafted rookie year
Yes.
this year.
Okay, because I was not computing
Yeah.
with your timeline.
So
Okay.
it was his fourth start since 2019 because he
Yes,
sat out
because
the
he sat
college
out the
year.
COVID, yeah, the college COVID
So
year, yeah.
so it's still like his fourth start of like game action and playing at a professional level. I just think you got to give him a little bit more time to make full on judgments. And like it's my stance could completely change come week 6.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's fair to say, "Oh yeah, Trey Lance is a bust" when these conditions were played week 1.
No, I
I
agree.
think if you play in sunny California and have this game against freaking like teams like I don't know Jacksonville or something, or maybe not as bad but not as good like Washington or something, where you should have a good game but you're still only putting up 150 yards passing and a couple picks, then like okay, dude, figure it out. Like your athleticism's better than that.
Yeah,
But
weapons galore.
yeah, but I want to give him at least till week 4 to make a permanent stance on Trey Lance. That's what I'm giving myself.
That's fair.
To week 4, and then if you're in 1-3, throw Jimmy G in.
Yeah, because it's clear that they want to win and
Yeah.
win now.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do that if they start off 3-1 or
Yeah.
1-3.
Yeah. So I want to just see how Trey Lance does till like week 4. But we'll run through the rest of these because we're a half hour in already, and we've talked about 4 games. So Steelers Bengals, I think another upset. A lot of people would
Yep.
say, but division rivals, one of the craziest games. Might be already one of the craziest games of the year.
Yeah.
Um,
And not because of how good it was, but because of how
no,
bad it was.
yeah, just how bad it was. Well, how many missed kicks were there? 4
Yeah, I think so.
before the final field goal was hit.
By Boswell,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like one of them, maybe 5 if the extra point is counted, or is that within the 4?
I think
Or-
that was it within the 4, yeah.
Yeah, so like Bengals drive, score with zeros on the clock, tie the game at 20, and then Minka
Minka
breaks through the
Fitzpatrick.
line, blocks the McPherson kick. This game is fucking me up. And then Boswell misses, McPherson misses, and then Boswell finally hits.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then you go along with the Joe Burrow 5 total turnovers
That
before
was
the end of the
so
game.
bad.
4 total turnovers.
5.
4 interceptions.
Yes.
And a fumble.
And a fumble.
It's just like, man. And like you look at his fantasy line, he's still got like 28 points. And it was just like,
Really?
and he had 5 total turnovers.
Jesus Christ, man.
Like he must have gotten some work on the ground, like scrambling.
Was that in like the points per first down league?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I think so. So maybe like 24.
Yeah,
Ish.
because if you do yeah.
But still, throwing 5 turnovers
5,
and getting
yeah.
24 fantasy points is not bad. It's not a bad day in the office.
No.
But it was a bad day for Burrow. 5 turnovers. Steelers defense played great.
Lights out.
The Trubisky led offense is kind of exactly what I was expected.
Yep, pretty mediocre.
Not to do much, and because 6 of the 23 points was a pick 6.
Yep.
So you can't even give that to the offense either. Good news for Steelers Nation. I repeated this 5 times today, so I know it off by heart. But TJ Watt is not to get pectoral surgery, so he's going to be out approximately 6 weeks. So he will be back around week 7-ish. So good news, you're not going to be out
your best player
for the entire year. I don't know how it's going to really impact the season, like whether or not you would have been in a playoff spot regardless. But starting off 1-0 doesn't hurt. But yeah, this game was insane.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was absolutely insane for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Was there anything that like really like stood out to you, a part of any team that like you're excited to see going forward?
With these two teams?
Yeah.
I'm not really excited for anything. I mean, you kind of have expectations for the Bengals because they made the Super Bowl last year. I don't know if it's a hangover. I really don't have any expectations for the Steelers because like their offensive line is so bad.
Yeah.
They have no run game. And if you don't have a run game, you can't rely on Mitch to just throw passes everywhere and only a screen game, or else it's gonna you're gonna go 3-and-out like 20 times a game.
Yeah.
And you don't even get 20 drives. So well they will if their defense keeps fucking lighting it up.
Yeah, no kidding. And like going into the season, everyone was high on Steelers defense. They've always had a good defense. It was just whether or not their offense could carry.
Yeah.
And I think this game was like perfect. What everyone
said.
Pictured.
Yeah.
Steelers had 5 turnovers. Or if like Steelers defense got 5 turnovers and it took 3 missed kicks from McPherson to like
for them to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty brutal.
It's not a great sign to see.
Mm-mm.
But Jamar Chase is still up to his old ways. This guy is unbelievable. He's so good. And for any fantasy darling out there, anyone playing first years playing fantasy and they have Joe Burrow, he's better than this. So don't worry. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow at all.
Mm-mm.
I definitely think he's going to regress from last year. But he's not 5 total turnovers bad. So don't worry. I'm gonna let you kick this one off. A really exciting game, one that screwed one of your bets. Eagles beat the Lions 38-35.
Yeah, no, I bet this game with the under, fully intending that the Lions.
And I was behind you when you made that bet, and I was like, I like that.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, the Eagles have a great defense.
Yeah,
I don't really know about if they have a great defense anymore. Like they got absolutely ran on. Swift just was so
dude,
swift.
dude. I heard the hype surrounding Swift, and I was like, I'm just scared he doesn't like.
Like it's the Lions though, so like
Yeah.
how good can they actually be?
And
But
then, dude,
no, I know
this
for
guy
real.
looks so explosive.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Swift looked like the real deal. Jared Goff actually didn't look the worst.
Completely terrible. Yeah.
But I just think the biggest thing about this game was the fact that Dan Campbell felt like he needed to be Dan Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
and was just like, oh, we're always behind. Like we're playing from behind when it's like you were down a score and then you went for an onside kick. Like in the third quarter, like you don't need to do that. And of course, then it led to an Eagles touchdown,
Yeah.
and it kind of widened the lead margin. And then they played chase, and they got back up to 3 points, and they had the Eagles in like a locked step, but obviously they just couldn't put it away. But Jalen Hurts, like he didn't play great. He played good.
Yeah.
It was AJ Brown that stole the show for me.
10 catches, 155 yards.
That's pretty fucking good.
It's not he
he
because that was one thing I was worried on whether or not Hurts could get him the ball,
hmm
and he
he got
made
him the ball.
yeah, he proved his contract. He proved why he
Yes.
was deserved to get paid because even just watching him explode off the line past any quarterback that was locked up on him,
hmm
he was always 2 steps ahead of him every single time.
Yeah.
And he had 13 targets, which like ties his career high, and he caught 10 of them, 155 yards. I don't believe he found the end zone,
No,
but
he didn't.
he will find the end zone many more times this year. I can count on it. And if Hurts cannot have a great game and their team can still put up 38, this Eagles team is better than I'm expecting.
I agree. I just think their defense, the same way the Saints defense kind of needs to, in same way almost every defense needs to kind of come together and gel together and glue together, because there's a lot of new pieces on that Eagles defense. The
Yeah.
same way there's a lot of new pieces with New England, with New Orleans, with um, the Panthers. Like you could name almost every team on here that has some new pieces with a defense. So yeah, as long as the season goes on, everyone stays healthy, the Eagles should be like a really, 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 really good team.
Yeah.
It's
Like
all dependent on Jalen Hurts.
yeah, and I think Jalen Hurts, I heard so many things that his mechanics, his patience, his reads, he was just getting a lot more discipline
Mm-hmm.
to the quarterback position, which I love Jalen Hurts. Um, I've just liked him throughout college. I think he's got the right attitude to be a good player in this league, and I've always been cheering for him. And I was happy to see him like he's trying to get better as a quarterback and not just be a running quarterback who can throw.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's actually trying to be a quarterback who can run, and I respect that. And I think he's just going to get better as the season goes on. And like you alluded to earlier, when you get a bunch of new pieces like the Eagles did, it's going to take a few games to really gel as an entire starting unit. And I think yes, you're going to have some bumps on the way, but I think as a whole, this team's going to get better as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how they turn out. But we're going to go over to our first tie of the year, week 1.
Jeez.
One I was not expecting. Colts, Texans. This one was just, besides my guy, Michael Pittman, who got him in Dynasty, picked him right after Claypool, and
It's
I
way
picked
better.
him right before Claypool. I wanted to ride with the Abbey boy, but I was like, you know what? I just have this feeling about Pittman that it's gonna pay out, and he dominated in week 1, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. but Colts 20, Texans 20.
That sounds so weird to say, considering that so many people were putting the Colts at the top of the division and the Texans at the bottom of the division, and the Texans are in first place
No.
in the AFC South.
Oh, Texans. I
Yeah,
was thinking Titans
no.
in my head. But yeah. Just insane. I think I had Texans third, so I'm not too upset about it. Um,
No, I think you put them last. I think you put the Jags in front of them.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, now that you say that, you're right. But Jonathan Taylor back to his old ways, 31 attempts for 161 yards and a touchdown. Pittman, like I said, 120 and a touchdown. Um, and after that, like Pittman took a lot of it, majority of the targets. But throughout that, Naeem Hines, there was a few guys who were like close to 50. So Matt Ryan was spreading the ball around. He had 350 passing yards for a touchdown and a pick. Texans Davis Mills had 240 yards and two touchdowns, no picks. Rex Burkhead led the rushing with
Dude,
14 carries for 40 yards. Brandon Cooks had 80 yards on seven receptions. So just weird. No Damian Pierce.
I know, and I don't get why Lovie Smith is beating around his fucking bush. Like, put the better back in. Like, Rex Burkhead, serviceable. Damian Pierce, electrifying.
Yeah.
Like, everyone who watched football and isn't just a casual fan, saw Damian Pierce and was like, holy shit. Like, this guy has juice. This guy has, like, actual running back abilities. And then it's like, yeah, no, he's just not going to play. It's like, why is Rex Burkhead still in the league?
Hey,
I know you're a big sexy Rexy kind of guy,
that's my
but
boy.
like,
Rex Burkhead deserves a spot in this league. Not as an RB1,
no.
but like an RB3.
Maybe special teamer one.
RB3, he just put up 14 for 40, so I still think he's got some legs in him, but I definitely don't understand why they weren't playing the fantasy darling, the highly touted Damian Pierce that a lot of people were talking about and had so much positive things to say about him.
No, 100%.
So, doesn't make sense to me, but the the quarter breakdown is unreal. Like Indy was up 3-0, and then Houston went up 20-3, and then Indy put up 17 in the fourth to tie it,
Yeah.
and then no points. Went
And I don't get in that one too. Kicker's missing, but the biggest thing is the Colts didn't play like any of their starters in the preseason, and
yeah,
it showed.
yeah,
Like there was no tempo in to try and finish that game because the Colts could have potentially have finished the Texans off before OT,
yeah,
and then just nothing,
yeah.
nothing at all. And it baffles my mind that they don't play at least a quarter of football in the preseason. Like, yeah, injuries are always on the table, but if you come out looking flat against a bad team, look at where it's gonna put you.
Yeah.
Now you're a half game in front of so many bad teams, and you could have been
Yeah.
one full game.
Yeah. And news today, Rodrigo Blankenship released.
Was waived.
Yep, released by Indy. Um I just think I think his charisma carried more than his actual play.
Yes.
He was ever since his rookie year, he's only been 69% and he's 1 for 5 from 50 plus.
Yeah.
So in terms of like being a reliable kicker, I think it's a little bit people tend to think that he's better than he is.
Just because of his reputation that he got as a
Yeah.
rookie. Yeah.
So, well, I'm sure he'll be picked up from someone, but it'll be interesting to see who Colts go after releasing him. But my Patriots lost by 3 scores to the Dolphins, 20-7. Our offense just looked so bad.
It looked so flat.
It just looked flat. Nothing was happening, and I've been saying this. It's what you're gonna get from a Patricia and Judge ran offense. Mac Jones, 21 for 30, 213, touchdown and a pick. Just nothing really crazy. There was no running game. We didn't hit 50 yards. Jacoby Myers mossed someone, but that was it. Like, he led our receiving core with 4 receptions.
Yeah, no, it
It,
was just bad all around.
yeah,
I think we knew that coming in, where it was probably going to start off slow just because it's Joe Judge and Patricia running an offense. Like, there's no number one offensive coordinator, and I feel like a lot of opinions can get changed.
yeah,
And I feel if nothing happens by week 3 where they're not putting up at least 3 touchdowns, Belichick's just gonna be like, you know what, you guys, I'm actually gonna do this now because you guys fucking suck.
yeah. It's so dumb. Tua, 23 for 33, 270 and a touchdown. Um, they didn't have a running game either. 12 carries for 25 yards was Edmonds,
Mm-hmm.
the leader. Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions, 94 yards in his debut. Jalen Waddle caught a 50-yard touchdown on fourth
Fourth
and
and
seven.
7.
Like,
Yeah.
kill me now.
And see, that was Tua's only passing touchdown. I'm still not completely sold on the whole Tua hype train. I've been very vocal about that, but it's like there was no there was nothing fancy about this game.
Yeah,
Like the one catch that Tyreek Hill where he literally stole it out of who's
Jones's hand.
like that was a terrible pass. It was a prayer that Tyreek Hill answered. You
Yeah,
know, like you've seen that throw from Mahomes before to Hill, and Hill somehow elevates higher than a 6'2" person and mosses him just because he has mad hops. It's like I wasn't completely sold with the Dolphins this game. I just think the Dolphins took advantage of the Patriots' flatness.
yeah,
I think that's what it was for me with this game. No one really won this game. It's just one succeeded with another team coming out slow.
yeah. I think Tua looked sharp. He had some questionable throws, but I still think he looked.
That first throw that
That
we
first
saw.
throw was really bad, but I think after that,
Apparently it was
um,
tipped though.
yeah, I don't think it was tipped. I think it was just a panic decision, and maybe it slipped, maybe whatever. But he did look sharp, and like you say, he wasn't doing anything crazy. But um, yeah, Dolphins 1-0, Patriots 0-1. Yeah, I don't know, nothing crazy from our offense as I was expecting. Ravens win 24-9 over the Jets.
Lamar really betting on himself. Uh they started slow, but second half, like they were dominant. They were dominant, and they only let in a touchdown at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, all I have for my notes about the Jets is that they equaled the Jets. So I mean, your survivor pick for next week, if anyone else is playing a survivor pool, is probably going to be the Cleveland Browns, because if Zach Wilson isn't starting, Joe Flacco just looks like he wants to be there for money.
Yeah, he's not starting. I don't think Wilson's coming until week 4-ish.
Well, then there you go.
So I think Flacco is there until then. Yeah, Flacco, 307 yards, touchdown and a pick.
50 something attempts.
Yeah, 59 attempts.
Yeah, 37
Crazy.
completions.
Lamar Jackson was 17 for 30, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
Yep.
I was surprised when I saw that he turned down $250 million. And obviously, like, I thought the Ravens weren't offering him like a respectable contract, but then I saw that he was turning that down. I was like, come on, bro. Like, I think that's fair. I understand Watson getting fully guaranteed 230, but I think that's just a Browns thing rather than like
A whole league
what
thing.
actually is the market for you,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I agree.
So I don't think Lamar should have turned that down. I think he's kind of like crazy for that. But hey, to each their own. I wouldn't turn down a tryout contract. but that's
That's
just
just
me.
me.
Yeah, that's just me. But we're gonna move over to another game. Jaguars Commanders. Jaguars fall 22 or 28-22 to Washington.
Ugh.
This was just a messy game.
Dude, I know how we watched this first bit, and it's like Trevor Lawrence needs anyone who can catch a damn football. SOS to anyone. Brock, I'm looking at you. Okay, like go and try out for the Jags. And I know people said Etienne had a good game. Etienne had a free touchdown, and he dropped it.
Yeah.
He dropped it. Like I was like, oh my god. And Christian Kirk getting paid 22 mil to be a number one. Like, did he even lead the team with the more reception yards?
Yeah.
He did. Okay, I thought
Almost
it.
doubled it.
Oh fuck.
He
Okay, I
had
thought it
6
was.
receptions for 117 yards.
Damn, it was a
He had,
quiet one. I did not. I did
it
not think it was
I
that many.
I didn't think it was either.
I thought.
I thought he had
I
like
thought it was around like 70
I
at
thought I
least.
thought he had a Jacoby Myers stat line, and I was like, "Oh, he has 117."
Okay, well, you know what? I take that one back.
I think he had a very fair game. One touchdown, and everyone is like, "Yo, he had a good game." But the fact that he didn't score is kind of like shading everyone away from it. But
Yeah,
117 yards is, he was productive. Like he
that is mad production.
yeah.
So you know what? I'll take that back about Kirk, but Trevor Lawrence still needs other people to throw to, and Carson Wentz is just a roller coaster of a quarterback because 1 minute he's throwing dimes, the next minute he's throwing left-handed into a defensive player's arms, and then the next minute he's throwing a 40-yard bomb to Jahan Dotson and winning the game,
Well, dude, he
and
hit
also losing me more money.
27 for 41, 313 yards, 4 tutties, and a pick. 2 picks.
Yeah, 2 picks, and one of them was the number one overall pick, Trayvon Walker, which was
That
that
was
was
just a
like
good
right
play.
place, yeah, right
That was
place, right time.
that was a good play on. TJ Watt had a similar play against Burrow.
Yes.
Just jumped up and just snatched that out of the air. It was just
Yes.
like you expect a tip, you never expect him to just jump up and grab that.
Or just come
But-
out from your peripheral and just say, "Hey, this is mine now."
Yeah. James Robinson had a pretty good game too, 66 yards on the ground and a touchdown.
And then a
Off 11
receiving
carries.
touchdown. Right?
Yeah, he had a receiving
Yeah.
touchdown too, 3-yard touchdown.
He's back, baby.
Travis Etienne, like you said, could have had one as well, but he dropped one. Just like there were so many we were watching, Trevor Lawrence threw a dot, and it was just both for touchdowns, and we just looked at each other. We're like, bro, like, cause you're a Zach Wilson stan, but like, man, Trevor Lawrence is just he's in a situation from hell, and that Urban Meyer year put him back into freshman of college.
Yeah,
like
I was about to say, probably put him into his first year of college.
Like he's set so far back. So I have higher hopes for Lawrence if he just gets, because like you said, with like no one to throw to, Jacksonville had like the Patriots off season like the year after. They copy and pasted. They put all their money in the wrong basket.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went out and
signed
They went out
names.
and spent money. They didn't spend all the right names.
Yeah,
but
no,
they
not at
spent
all.
money. Like, yeah, their cap space went down, but their talent slightly increased.
Yeah, literally.
If that, like, it's just so weird seeing Christian Kirk set the market for wide receivers, and it was just a bad.
And then everything else just went up from
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
like Jacksonville could have utilized that offseason much better. I know we were just shit on Christian Kirk. He did have a good week 1, but I think they could have just found less pieces, but like better pieces.
They could have signed a better, like the fact that Christian Kirk is making more money than Michael Thomas kind of makes me laugh.
Yeah, but although Thomas did
He
sign
did
the
sign his
contract
contract
before
3 years earlier. Yeah, I
so-
understand that. It's just funny to see how the market arises, like to the fact that in 2018 he was the highest paid wide receiver, and then it was Christian Kirk, and then it was obviously everyone else.
It was like Stafford.
Yeah,
or-
exactly, and or Dak or Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it was. I think Stafford signed, and he was like the highest paid quarterback at like like 23 mil or
And he
something.
never won a playoff
Yeah,
game.
at 23 mil, and then next thing you know, you see Matt Ryan sign, Kirk Cousins sign, Dak sign, and now quarterbacks are making $50 million now, and
Yeah,
Stafford's just
it's
like,
fucking crazy.
yeah, it's insane. But we're gonna hop over to the next game, Giants Titans. It's not often you see the Giants starting 1-0, but they benefit off another missed field goal.
Yep, Fat Randy.
21-20, they win. Derrick Henry got popped.
Yeah, that was
That
weird to
was
see.
one.
Derrick
Yeah,
Henry got Derrick Henry
yeah. And Saquon is back.
back. That is literally my first note about the Giants.
He had,
161 rushing yards.
yeah, he had like 29 fantasy points if you want to count like PPR and stuff like that. He ran the rock. The league is better when Saquon is on top of his game. I hope this isn't just a one-off game because he's just so much fun to watch. And when he's actually like, when he's not rushing for like 12 for 54, when he's
Yes.
actually
And
exploding for runs and
he's
like,
getting the third down carries too.
yeah,
Like Dable actually realizes that he has a fucking specimen at
yeah,
running back. It's
yeah,
not just like, yeah, you're gonna be our first and second down guy. No, you're our every down guy.
yeah,
Like you're an animal.
yeah. It's so nice to see Saquon back. And I don't know if you saw the reaction from Dable when the field goal got
Oh yeah,
missed.
I did.
It was cool to see. But do you have any thoughts on this game? On
Daniel Jones didn't look better, nor did he look worse. I feel like that one pick that he threw to Saquon, coincidentally in the end zone, was pretty fucking bad. But Dable going for two, fat nuts on this man. Like I know you didn't see it because you went off to
no,
work.
I saw
Oh,
I
did
saw
you?
I saw highlights of it was a Saquon. He almost got ate up in the backfield, right? And then
Bounced it
he
outside.
bounced
Yeah,
it outside and then dove in.
yeah.
That was
No, it was
massive.
absolutely insane, and just yeah, no, the Titans. I like it how both of the our picks for the AFC South are didn't beat teams that they should have beat.
100%. And no team in the AFC South won.
Yeah,
So
that's crazier
that's
to
a
me. The
laugh
fact
out.
that no one in the AFC South
And
won a game, and
two of them play against each other. Like, bro, what is happening? Oh man. All right. We are going to jump to Scott. This one's for you, buddy. Chiefs
yes, it
44,
is.
Cardinals 21. Patrick Mahomes 360 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yep, my notes for this game are as follows. No Tyreek, no problem. Scott's MVP pick looking juicy. Cardinals looked worse than the Rams in my opinion. I know they scored more points than the Rams, but it's something about their vibe just it just didn't scream like we can contain or we can cover anyone.
Mhm.
Like a lot of those points, well, not a lot of those points. Some of those points were off of really bad turnovers, like Juju fumbling twice.
Yeah.
You know, like if Juju doesn't fumble twice, I don't think the Cardinals even get 21 points. I don't think they get 14 points. I think they probably get like around 10. Like, and just yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to just shit on the Cardinals the whole time, but I mean, it's hard not to, especially when the Chiefs look as dominant as ever. Patrick Mahomes, definitely in the driver's seat right now for the MVP race. I know it's
Yeah.
only week one, but yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy game from the
There's
Chiefs.
there's always week 1 favorites, and right now Mahomes is sitting atop
Yeah,
of it. Like he was so efficient too, 30 for 39, 360 and 5 touchdowns, no turnovers.
yeah,
Like,
leading in the absolute all margins of what Scott was saying.
yeah, it's and I respect the hell of it. And but it was something I was not doubting at all because Mahomes can just turn it on at any time. He rarely has a bad game. His bad games are like 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and maybe
Yeah,
like a strip sack or something like that. Like,
and it's
but
like, damn, that's still better than Burrow.
and maybe like not as efficient. Maybe like 22 for like 49 or something like that. Like
Yeah, maybe
those
if they're
are
playing behind.
like those are Mahomes' like bad games. So I do think he is out for vengeance right now. Travis Kelsey 8 receptions, 121 yards, and a touchdown. I know it's only week 1, but my bet's looking pretty juicy between us. But there's still so much football to play, but Chiefs are getting off to a really good start. And I do think Arizona is missing DeAndre Hopkins right now because that is one less massive target that Kyler Murray is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and it's not just like he's not even on the short IR list too. Like he's out for like 6 weeks. So like,
Yeah, back week 7 against New Orleans.
yeah, and that's just, and then first game back you get Marshawn Lattimore. So
Yeah.
like it's just Arizona. This is one of the reasons why that it was so hard to see him having the same season as last year, starting off 11-0, something crazy like that. I don't see it being a smooth ride for Arizona. Maybe they can battle off a few like we're gonna need to see more out of James Conner. He only had like 20 yards rushing. We're gonna need to see more of him other than just a goal line back. We're gonna need to see more. And
Agreed.
then you got like you traded for Marquise Brown. You just got to find a way to get him the ball more. And Zach Ertz, he only had 2 receptions.
Yeah, he was a
Like,
game time decision though, I
yeah,
heard.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I just think Kyler Murray didn't necessarily utilize his weapons. He didn't spread the
No.
ball out enough. He only had 190 yards passing. So I think Arizona just needs to figure out how to utilize their weapons a bit better. And when you utilize your weapons, those weapons just have to start playing a bit better too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just one of pretty close to perfect game. And what was it, Justin Reed?
Yeah.
Is he gonna have to renegotiate his contract to get that kicker and DB
Yeah,
money?
seriously, man. Like that
That's
was insane. He has a fucking leg.
There was I don't know if you saw the behind the mic'd up conversations between Justin Reed. NFL posted it, and Townsend,
Yeah.
the holder
Yeah, Tommy
for
Townsend.
he he came up to Justin Reed after he was like, "Hey, like, can you kick for us? Like, Butker's down, like whatever." He's like, yeah, like I kicked in high school or whatever, like that." And Townsend's like, "You kicking for us now?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, come over. Let's utilize the net for a bit. Let's eat up the net a bit." And then Reed kicked a couple times, and he was like, "All right, you ready to go?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, we gotta do a handshake first." And he was like, "What do you want to do?" And they did like made up a quick handshake before they
Oh,
went
what
out
the
there.
hell? That's so
And
cool.
he kicked the PAT. They went to go do it, fucked it up. and then
Oh my god.
and then obviously they went to the kickoff after the kick PAT was right after Clyde's touchdown, first touchdown. And then
Booted it through the
and then
fucking
he kicked it through
uprights.
the uprights, but then they showed they saw him kick it, and then they showed a different angle at a different time. Patrick Mahomes seeing he saw the ball like go up off the kickoff, and he was like, "Yo, Jay Reed just kicked it through the uprights. Well, he's kicking the hell out of this ball." It was one of the cooler like behind the scenes moments because you get to see like different aspects and
Angles and aspects,
and
yeah.
just like that handshake part. Like I didn't know like they like came up with that quick. Like it was just like a quick dap and then bang the helmet, but then they fucked up the dap part. It was
Oh
just
my god.
it was cool because also never heard that Townsend guy talk, and it was just he sounds like a Cali surfer dude, especially with the long hair down
The
to his
long
back.
hair, yeah.
It's yeah, it was
Oh
just it
goddamn,
was
maybe I have to go look at that the
yeah,
video now.
yeah. I'm pretty sure NFL posted it. It was a really cool video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I really love those mic'd up moments. I always watch the mic'd up videos that like Canucks post of like Quinn Hughes mic'd up, and you get to see like different
Yeah,
um
you get to see what the players actually talk
yeah,
about.
you get to see a game from different point of view, and you get to see like the coaches break the news to Reed like, "Hey,
You're kicking.
you're
Yeah.
kicking for us at least for now." But
Also, one thing, how did Butker actually come back and kick a 54-yard field goal on one leg? Like, did you see the way like
his
he kicked it
or
and how he landed on his left foot?
dude, it folded like a lawn chair.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't better. Don't kick the field goal. You're up by so
Dude,
much.
how can like you fold your ankle like that and confidently go kick a ball again?
And 54
Yeah, where you
yards.
actually it's
Ah,
not like a PAT where you can pretty much stand still and
two,
just
yeah, 2 steps and kick it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, this is.
You have to put every ounce of your body in a 54 yarder, and he was just like, "I won't roll my ankle again."
I'll do it.
Yeah. Like, okay, son. My Super Bowl favorites, my Super Bowl champions came out and beat rival LA Raiders.
Las Vegas
Vegas
Raiders.
Raiders, LA Chargers won 24-19. Justin Herbert had Not a crazy game, but nothing short of a good game. He threw for just short of 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Derek Carr threw for 295, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks.
Yeah, the one crazy stat that I had with this game that was kind of alluding to from the Matt Stafford. Derek Carr threw how many times? 35 times?
37.
37? Guess how many of them were to Devontae Adams as you're looking at the stat right now?
Yeah.
18 times.
Yeah, he targeted him, 17
There's
times,
the
and he
seven.
caught 10 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, like he needs to realize that he has more targets in this offense. Like Renfro, I think he caught like 3 passes or had
I was
3 targets.
gonna ask you, how many targets do you think Hunter Renfro had?
3.
He had 6 targets,
He had six
3
targets.
receptions.
I know some of them like were like what is considered a target is actually insane because I saw one of them just sailed his head, and Renfro's not a big guy. Um, but then there's also the little bit, Waller probably should have had a touchdown reception very early in the game.
But it was just a bad throw
It
by
was a
Carr.
bad throw, and I mean Waller could have used 2 hands. He used one hand.
Yeah.
Like that's taught to you in high school to use 2 hands. Never use one hand,
Yeah.
unless you kind of actually have to. But I mean, you can't have 17 targets go to one player, or else you know what the game plan's going to be next
Yeah.
week. It's going to just be all right. Well, we'll take our best corner off of, the best receiver. We'll double him because I don't care exactly how it is, but 2 people are always better covering than just one.
Yeah.
So they also need to get a run game going. I know Jacobs didn't have like
He had
an
around,
explosive
yeah,
day.
he had 57 yards on 10 carries.
It's like that's 5.7 yards a
Yeah.
carry.
Like that is, yeah, like
That is
yeah.
phenomenal.
So,
So they need to get that going, or else they're gonna look very one-dimensional. And like you can see it too, because you look at Justin Herbert. He utilized all of his weapons.
yeah.
The only one that really he didn't use was Mike Williams.
Yeah, and he targeted him, tied for the most. A receiver didn't get more than 4 targets.
Yeah. Well, what
Did you
about
see?
Gerald Everett? Gerald Everett, I think, got like,
He had 4 targets, three
oh,
receptions.
Jesus. I thought Everett had more than 4.
No, it was like Keenan had 4, Carter had 4, Everett had 4, Eckler had 4, McKitty had 4, Mike Williams
Like
had 4, Josh Palmer had 4,
he
Kelly had 2.
he literally utilized all of his weapons,
Yeah,
and look at where it got them. It got them
yeah,
to the promised
and
land.
he didn't, like, no receiver exceeded 66 yards. He had 2 receivers in the 60s. Like Chargers didn't have an outstanding day, but Herbert 26 for 43, so like
He was
nothing crazy.
methodical with everything that Herbert did.
279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he just took it drive by drive. And
Took what the defense gave him.
can we just talk about Khalil Mack real
Yes, we
quick?
can, because
Three
Khalil Mack is great.
sacks, 3 sacks. Just he had 5 tackles. One of them was an assist. Like Derwin James, 6 tackles, 1 sack. Like
I'm
that.
pretty sure Khalil Mack, isn't he like my pick for my long shot pick for like sacks or something?
I wish I'd.
There's so many fucking things.
Yeah, I can't remember 100%, but I think it was. I think you picked the Bosa brothers, or that
That
was
was
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Here, I'll look right now. That way we can get a
I don't think I posted picks. I just posted our AFC and NFC. Um,
maybe. Yeah, damn.
so I never posted the picks, but no, like Khalil Mack is just, he looked like an absolute savage, and it's gonna be exciting to see how he plays for the rest of the season. Because if he plays anything like that, it's gonna be fun to watch the Chargers.
No, 100%.
Um, does this change your opinion on Vegas at all, or
Um
either team?
no, honestly. I
Adam,
had Vegas finishing last in the division anyways. I think this is kind of what I was gonna see from the defense because other than Mad Max and Chandler Jones, I really can't name a lot of other people on that defense.
Hmm.
Whereas like the Chargers have so many names at so many positions, and they didn't even have J.C. Jackson.
Yeah.
They didn't even have their top corner out there.
And I don't like unless Joey Bosa didn't make any impact at all, but I didn't see any stats with his name beside it either.
I think he had a sack as well, because I remember seeing him with long ass fucking hair. And but I know with him and Mac on opposite ends of one another, they're both like
Joey Bosa
they
had a
com-
sack and a half.
they
Yeah.
combined for 16 quarterback pressures.
Yeah. It's just weird because Bosa's name is at the very bottom.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Joey Bosa had two tackles, a sack, sack and a half, I guess, if you want to get ticky tacky with it. But no, yeah, Chargers defense came to play, and their offense just kind of played, just kind of sliced and diced. Didn't do anything crazy.
Nope.
But yeah, I had the Raiders come the last two. Adams cooked 10 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. So it's like, there's a theme a lot with this week is that a lot of receivers having much better games than the quarterbacks. You saw that with Stafford and Cup. Cup was picking up right where he left off last year.
Yep.
He had 120 yards, touchdown, and around like 12 catches. Javonte Adams, 10 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown, where Carr had 2 touchdowns and 3 picks,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why, like, I remember getting in a conversation with someone. It's like, how does Stafford not be up for MVP if Cup has a season? This is the reason.
This is the reason why.
Like Cup's worst game last year was like 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, like
It was
his
insane.
worst fantasy finish, I think, was like 16 points.
Yeah, and it's like that's why. Like when you're fed the ball as much as some of these receivers are this week, that's why receivers can have such outstanding games. But yeah, Adams ate this week. He made Samuel look like a little boy out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I still like my Chargers pick. I think they can be much better than how they play against Vegas, and they looked pretty fucking good. So I still like my pick for them to win the AFC. Not like because I think they can just go toe to toe. They can play any game you want them to. Herbert, you got they have the core, like the receiving core. Palmer is a nice guy who can stretch the field. Mike Williams is starting to play on more mid to deep levels of the field. Keenan Allen is a guy who can work on all levels.
Anywhere. Yeah.
And Eckler can catch out of the backfield. Josh Kelly he's like a kind of like a Rex Burkhead kind of thing. Like he's not gonna make a massive impact, but he could.
And he has one of those big plays.
Yeah, exactly. And Herbert can just launch the ball. And then their defense, they had 5.5 sacks, and they didn't have their best cornerback either.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for how the Chargers are going to play, especially for the upcoming Thursday game that will go through. Packers lose to the Vikings 23-7. What do you got for this game, bud?
I'm gonna kind of allude it to last year. Aaron Rodgers just seems to take week 1 off. I don't know why, because like it was a division game. I mean, I know why, because his receivers, like it was like, oh, he's gonna be fine. He doesn't need a good 1A receiver. Well, I mean, does Christian Watson make that catch if it's Devontae Adams? Probably.
Like
Is AJ Dillon more of a monster, and Aaron Jones are like they better because there's actually more than just them. It was terrible, and I honestly think that the Vikings could have done way worse, but I just think like a way worse as in killing them way worse. But I think they just kind of wanted to run out the clock and not give Rodgers enough time to do anything. And some of the fourth down plays that Green Bay had, it was just pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, it was a pathetic effort for Green Bay to try and come back and win this game when it was very winnable in the fourth quarter, especially with Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVP, did not look like an MVP. Looked like a greasy fucking guy from oh fuck, what's the book called? I can't remember what the book
Oh,
is
The
called.
Outsiders?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. That slick fucking
Yeah.
haircut. Straight to jail.
Yeah, straight to jail. But that Christian Watson, the face that Rogers made after, he's like, man, I miss Devontae.
Literally, man. No, it was bad.
Yeah, it was. I think that play set the tone for Green Bay.
Hmm.
I think if Watson makes that catch, then every player on that Green Bay offense is playing with a lot more juice. But when that was a walk-in
Wide
touchdown,
open walk-in touchdown.
he could have walked on his hands into the end zone and been completely fine. But that was just like Rodgers is like, fuck me.
Yeah, literally.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of their season plays out with this receiving core. But I mean, Justin Jefferson,
Might be the one of the goats already.
dude,
Like I know his career is so young, but man,
is
what did he
so
have? Like
fucking good. Take a guess.
180 receiving yards. I'm gonna say he had 180 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
He had 11 targets
Yeah.
for 9 receptions,
Mm-hmm.
184 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's good. And what did I say about Jair as he fucking comments? I wanted Jetters. I wanted him. Well, you had like couple routes and one of them you got completely turned around by him.
Also, I think a lot of cornerbacks get cooked on that play by Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, fair enough too, but I just someone
I
or
think it's more than one cornerback play comes down to more than just one play
no, it
highlighted on
it
him.
it definitely does, but I mean now the fact that he's getting exposed because of Justin Jefferson and the hype around him, I just can't wait for, somebody else to actually have a day against him and then people because
Yeah.
it's got to fall off soon. Like I know I'll die on this hill, but like just because you get a lot of pass breakups doesn't make you a good defender.
Goes 50-50, I think. Because you can even be thrown to when you're covering the guy and you could break it up.
Yep, same way where if you're covering, you're blanketing the guy and he somehow makes the catch. 100%. This one was just it was a good sight to see for me.
He did get cooked, but Justin Jefferson is one of the better route runners in the league.
No, he definitely
So
is.
he cooks a lot more guys than just that one Jair play.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was more of like just a
Yeah.
light me up kind of a 2 minute thing.
Yeah. I can see that. I wish he went to Adam Thielen more times because I just have him. And he let me down a little bit. I thought he's going to get more looks in the red zone, but he just didn't. So
Of course.
But I mean, I think this is a good start for Minnesota's season, and if this is the season that Jefferson's going to have, incoming Cooper Cup season from last year.
Yep.
Because,
Triple crown.
Yeah, it's just it's exciting to see. Probably one of the biggest snooze fests of this weekend.
Agreed.
Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay, Dallas Cowboys. It was 12-3 until like the third or fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. And then Mike Evans made a really, really nice one-handed catch for a touchdown.
It was that was such a nice play. Yeah, it was the third quarter when the first touchdown came.
Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
And then
you know how many people watched?
And NFL.com is purposely not showing stats because they just don't want to show how bad this game was. It was nothing but
there's
field
no
goals.
Stats to show.
Yeah, because it was so bad. Dak Prescott going down about halfway through the fourth quarter. He's gonna need surgery on his thumb. He's gonna be out. Jerry Jones has not put him on the injury list, so he should be back within 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I don't see how you're back in 4 weeks like that.
It's gonna be like a Russell Wilson thing.
It's definitely going to be a Russell Wilson thing.
It's like stubbornness getting in the way of actually recovering properly.
Yeah.
Because Dallas has to keep up like the winning, and they can't really do that with Cooper Rush or anyone else besides Dak. But that Dallas looked, even before that injury,
terrible.
Dallas looked so fucking bad.
Yep. They don't have any other weapon on the outside.
They look terrible. And yes, that is a product of not having Gallup back. but Gallup isn't going to move the needle a ton to make this offense completely turn on its heels.
No.
Like the first drive, yes, Dak was kind of piecing up the Buccaneers defense,
But then they stalled.
but they stalled at like the 20,
Yeah, and
the
then
30,
and then it was a kick and field goal, and
and
then that was it.
after that there was nothing else.
Nothing.
Nothing else. You can't blame an injury on anything because
They didn't
even
do anything for 2 quarters, two
and
and a half quarters.
fucking Micah Parsons, dude. This guy is so fast, so athletic. He's a specimen. Sacks Brady twice, 2 drives in a row.
Both
He,
on third downs.
yeah. And it like right when Tampa was getting momentum, they hit the red zone, and then
Dude,
Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence just
that's literally what I have
yeah
on my notes for this game. It's like, did the Bucks look good, or was it just too good? Or was it just good defense only in the red zone?
yeah
Like between the 20s, Dallas could not stop shit.
no
But
they
it
were
came,
so bad.
yeah, it came down to the red zone. It's like, oh, you have 4 field goals on you and 1 touchdown. It's like, okay, that's not bad. How many did you score? It's like, yeah, 1 field goal. It's like, okay, well, then no.
Yeah, out of the
Garbage.
32 teams in the NFL, 31 scored a touchdown this
And
weekend,
Dallas was
and
the
Dallas is
only
the
team
only
not
team
to.
that wasn't. That could.
America's team, baby.
America's team, man, and they keep shoving him down our throat. But yeah, Dak should be back shortly. But Scott, as much as I want to praise your Kansas City and Mahomes pick, this Dallas
ain't it.
pick, they're not the 90s Cowboys, buddy. I'm
No.
sorry. But I mean, we're gonna move one stinker to another. This one wasn't so much of a stinker as Buccaneers Cowboys because I do want to give Geno Smith and the Seahawks their flowers. Ian, your team played well. They forced 2 goal line turnovers, and I saw this funny comment. It was like Russell Wilson and goal line is a rivalry we weren't expecting.
Yes.
3 significant turnovers from what I can just remember off the top of my head. 2 of them happened last night. Not necessarily Russell Wilson's fault. Either like
No,
both of them
definitely
weren't.
not.
Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams both fumbled at the 1 and both recovered by Seattle. But Russell Wilson's first touchdown was a Denver Bronco. 67-yarder to Jerry Jeudy.
Terribly underthrown.
Yeah,
ball.
not a good throw at all. It was more of a play from Jeudy than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, or a bad misblown coverage
Yeah.
by Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. But once again, a team not utilizing their best back, Javonte Williams, got less of the shares to Melvin Gordon. He only got 7. Melvin Gordon got 12. Although Javonte Williams averaged more yards per carry
What
than
did he
Melvin.
average? Like 8.6 yards a carry, I think it was.
6 yards a carry,
6 yards.
43 yards off 7 carries. Melvin Gordon had 58 off 12. Jerry Jeudy led the clubhouse with 102 receiving yards.
60 of that, or almost 70 of that from one play.
Yeah, 3/4 of it from one play. Rashad Penny, 12 carries for 60 yards with an average of perfectly 5. Geno Smith kind of dissected the Broncos defense.
Dude, the first half Geno was absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they only scored 17 points and that was all in one half because no, the way that Geno Smith was moving around the offense and the opening touchdown, like
He's piecing them up.
It was a great scramble. Well, not even scramble. It was a great step up play. And Will Dissly, I don't know how you leave someone that big that wide open.
Like it was like Justin Jefferson and Dante Pettis.
Literally.
Like, just so wide open, walking touchdowns. But yeah, Geno Smith, so efficient. 23 for 28, 195 and 2 touchdowns. Nothing spectacular, but that's like a Teddy Bridgewater stat line.
That is a Teddy
He's
Bridgewater
a guy
stat
who's
line.
not going to like do enough to like steal you a game, but he's not going to lose you a game. And that's exactly what 17 points does for you. But Seahawks defense put the clamps on Denver.
Yep.
And stepped up. It was like a Patriots defensive showing.
Almost.
Where they gave up the
bend but don't break.
They gave up the yards to the red zone and then immediately played prevent and then turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And just got him because as soon as Denver got to the red zone, it was a turnover. They just didn't capitalize. Like it was just something like that because their only touchdown was from 67 yards away.
Yep.
So, and then let's talk about the Nathaniel Hackett decision. 4th and 5. Did you watch the Manning cast?
Yeah, I did. You don't even have to be watching the Manning cast
Yeah.
to realize that
A minute left.
timeout.
A minute left.
Timeout.
Call a timeout on 4th and 5.
I
And
was saying that the
yeah.
whole time. I'm like, it's 4th and 5. Clock's running. Timeout. Just call a timeout. You have 2 left. Or did they have 3?
They had 3
They had
timeouts.
3 timeouts. Like, come on, man. And you don't kick a 64-yard field goal when you have a $200 million quarterback.
Yeah, 300, nearly 300. They
Nearly
gave him
300.
296 million dollars.
His name is Russell Wilson, and you have him. You have Cortland Sutton. You have tight ends who were tearing it up.
Yeah.
Like, what was the like Fox's name or like something Fox? I don't know, that tight end for Denver, number 83. He had himself a fucking day. Like, he had 50 yards receiving in like the first quarter.
Andrew Beck,
Sorry, yes.
2
Andrew, yeah.
receptions for 52 yards.
And that was his only 2 receptions, but that guy was like electrifying almost.
Yeah.
And same thing with Albert O. Same thing with oh shit, I don't remember any of the other names for the tight ends, but like you had it. You drove down. The Broncos should have won this game in the third quarter if it weren't for the 2 fumbles on the goal line.
Yeah.
And no, I was like,
Literally-
the air is not as thin in
Yeah.
Seattle as it is in
Yeah,
Denver.
you can't
Like,
rely on McManus's heroics.
no, and
to-
yeah, he does have a big leg. Yes, that would have made it.
He
But-
did. To be fair, he did have the distance, just missed slightly left.
Just missed left, yeah. And then, of course, he comes out and says, "Oh, well, yeah, that was probably the wrong decision." Any decision that makes you lose is the wrong decision.
Even the decision to wait 30 seconds to call a
Full
timeout.
timeout, yeah. And Russ has been in so many game situations like that. Why didn't he?
Yeah, why didn't he just take over? It was just, yeah, it was piss poor
It was
management.
so
The
frustrating.
game management was terrible on all levels from Denver.
But you know what? We've honestly should have expected this. Who did he offensive coordinate for last year?
Green Bay.
What was their
Hey,
bad
you're
things?
down 8 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to left with 3 timeouts in the red zone. What do you do? Do you go for it or kick the field goal?
Oh, 9 is bigger than 8. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you wanted to kick the
3
field
field
goal,
goals.
get the onside kick a field goal, get the onside kick a field goal, win. But yeah,
Brutal.
it was like I picked Denver to not lose this division, but that just management, it's hard to not learn off that.
Mhm.
But a Green Bay OC and someone who's just we'll see. We'll see. I won't be surprised if they have another brain fart down the road.
Honestly.
But that was a recap of week 1. Big slate. I want to go over the primetime games for week 2. Or we'll start with something different. Fantasy studs and duds. We put out a poll on our Instagram on some segment ideas that we should do. Fantasy studs and duds was, I'm pretty sure, the
top choice.
The top choice. So we're gonna go over some fantasy darlings and fantasy lamos.
I was gonna say fartling, so yeah, yours is probably better.
But fantasy studs and duds is much better. But I went over this so much today in school, and I'm just gonna repeat them. But I want you to kind of highlight some of the ones that you followed.
Yeah, no, some of the ones that I followed purely kind of progressed almost from like teams I'm playing. I have a lot of shares with everyone, so I kind of get to see
Yeah.
a lot of it. So my 3 studs that I had that absolutely just probably won you your week. If you drafted Saquon, not like Jevon and I in the mock draft we did, we actually made fun of people, the computer who drafted Saquon.
We were stuck in a situation where there's so much upside with Saquon, but it's just like
Injury
you
prone.
see the team he's on, it's so hard to be confident that he's gonna produce at 160 yards a game
A hundred
behind
percent.
a Giants O-line that is improved, but not enough to make me like, I can trust this guy now.
Exactly. But you know what? He's back.
Yeah,
That was my running back stud. My other running back stud was Nick Chubb. He didn't do a lot for like scoring wise, but like he's a stud. Like he was projected, I think 14 point or no, I don't know exactly what it was for PPR, but like he got you all that and maybe a little bit more with like a couple receptions here and there.
yeah,
And then Jefferson,
yeah,
like wide receiver one season incoming.
yeah.
And that was my studs. Do you want to go through your studs first?
Yeah, I had Patrick Mahomes. I
Of
mean,
course.
no 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like that was just
Perfect week.
unbelievable. You couldn't ask for a better week from a quarterback. And that's just he didn't even rush that much.
He didn't need
Like
to.
he is a sneaky athletic quarterback that can scramble for 30 yards or at least a game.
hmm
So the fact that he just pieced up Arizona with just his passing game shows how scary he's going to be this year. Um, a little sleeper pick, Steelers defense,
Yep.
fantasy stud. Um, Typically in these segments, defenses aren't picked, but I mean, when you get 5 total turnovers,
A
it's
touchdown.
chef's kiss. I mean, like, how much can you really ask for from that with the pick six as well? And then Jonathan Taylor, 130 yards rushing and a touchdown.
It's
He's
just average for
he's
this guy
yeah, he's back to his old
now.
ways. He's back to last season. It's just what more can you ask for? But fantasy duds. Go ahead.
Oh, my first dud was Thursday night. Cam Akers absolutely left
Yeah,
me in
I
shambles.
think I think that's round one, pick one.
That was that's the only time he's ever gonna go first overall. Other maybe in a rookie draft. I don't know where he went, but yeah, Cam Akers, that was bad. I was wanted to put Robinson in here, but I'm like, you know what? He got me a point, and there was somebody else who I expected to get like at least a catch, and that was Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet got me dick shit. Like 0 points and over 2 on receptions. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Like you were the tight end one, so much upside, and I know it was a shit game. But hey, there was 2 touchdowns scored. Like you could have gotten open.
yeah,
And then actually no, was there 3? I don't know. Something like it's a weird score. I don't really know how to put 19 together. And then Alvin Kamara, I'm like, come on, man, it's the Falcons. Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
I know you kind of got injured near like the last little bit, but like, man, oh man, Taysom Hill had like 4 rushes for 80 yards and a touchdown. It's just,
Yeah.
and he's a tight end on people's stat sheet, so
Yeah, it was a tough one for the boys, but I got a couple here. Mike Williams, not the best game.
Mm,
I know it's tough to like go on receivers because you can't really. They have no choice on whether they're gonna get the ball or not. You can get like you alluded to with Robinson this week. He can get open as many times as you want, but if you're not getting the ball, it's not up to you. But he had 2 catches for 10 yards. And after the electric season he had last year, I was expecting much better. Um, Dawson Knox, he had 1 catch for 5 yards. Allen threw for 297, and this highly touted tight end who had an unbelievable playoffs and last half of the season last year. He was coming in with high expectations, and he just nothing to show. I thought he would get at least like 5 catches. I don't care how much yards, but he got 1 catch for 5 yards. I thought he was gonna be utilized a lot more. And then Dak Prescott, dude,
that's
you
tough.
like, I'm I'm not blaming him on being injured. It was just performance before he got hurt. He was terrible. If
hmm
it wasn't in our points per first down league, rushing for a first down, he would have got like 5.5 points.
Yeah, you know what? You could
And
honestly say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. I think he got like
yeah,
1.9.
yeah, he did not play well. Trey Lance didn't play well, but I'm gonna conditions were pretty bad, so I'm not gonna judge his fantasy performance just I think Dax is more inexcusable,
Yeah,
um,
especially at
because
home.
like at home, I know the Bucks defense is good, but Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb should be enough weapons to like
Score one touchdown.
he was overthrowing wide open receivers,
Yes.
and that's inexcusable to an experienced enough quarterback like Dak Prescott. So he's one of my fantasy doubts of the week. Um, but I did want us to maybe go over some week 2 matchups here. We'll kind of spot like the primetime games, and then we'll sprinkle in one, maybe two other games each that we like that is going to strike us. So starting off hot with potentially, I don't want to spice it up like the Mayweather Pacquiao fight as the greatest fight of all time, but this could be one of the best games of the season. Chargers Chiefs. What a Thursday night matchup
Yep.
in Kansas City. It's gonna. I think Chiefs are favored 3.5.
That's
Um,
only home field advantage.
yeah, and I right off the bat, I said this earlier today, so I'll kind of stick to my decision. I know I'm a Chargers guy, but I have them sweeping every team in this division but the Chiefs. I have them splitting, and I think it's going to be they each win at home. Will it be a home game for LA? Don't think so. But but I think early on in the season, Chiefs at home, I think they're going to cover and win.
I
Uh,
mean, Patrick Mahomes in September, I think he has like
they're
18 touchdowns and no interceptions.
I read a stat today that Chiefs are 6-1 at covering the spread at home, and um, Chargers are 1-5 at covering the spread, coming off a win. So I'm gonna play with that and just a gut feeling. I think it's gonna be with. It's not gonna be more than 10. I can see it maybe being like a 28-21, 28-22 kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
a,
Maybe like
but
a last second touchdown
yeah,
wins it.
I like that a lot. Yeah. But I think this is going to be a really exciting game. Um, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I agree.
What are your kind of thoughts on like this game? Is there something that's kind of tickling your fancy going into this?
How many points are going to be scored?
Are you betting the over on this?
Like you have to go
Yeah.
the over, man.
It is 54, but like one of these teams could put up 54 themselves
Yeah,
if it's
literally. Like
close
the
enough.
Chiefs almost put up 54 or not yesterday, last week.
Yeah.
So going into that with that mindset, it's like, okay, both teams need 27 points. Can I see both teams getting 27 points? Yeah, I could actually. So
It yeah, it's very easy because like I alluded to earlier, Chargers can play any game you need to, and if you, like you saw it with them against the Browns last year.
hmm
I think it was like what 43-37 or something
It's
stupid like
something
that.
ridiculous. Yeah, they
It was
kept up.
insane. They can play any game. They can throw for as much as you need to. Yeah, this could be one of the games of the year. Um, Sunday night Bears Packers.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? Honestly, with
Yeah,
the Bears are in front of the Packers right now.
they are. Yeah, they're sitting. I guess maybe the Vikings are sitting atop of the NFC North, but
Yes, they definitely are. But I mean, like, hey, Bears Packers always a great Sunday night matchup. It's gonna be in Lambeau, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good Green Bay opening game.
will um I think Green Bay is gonna win this, cover any spread. I think Rodgers is gonna get the kids in check. But let's just search up Packers Bears spread.
Okay, I think it's gonna be like 5.5.
I'm thinking 6.5.
I was thinking 6.5, but I'm like, the Packers did just lose a game and the Bears did just win. So I think it's gonna be a lot of betting for the Packers to probably pull out this victory because
I mean, apparently 9.5 point underdogs,
baloney. When did this come out?
allegedly. Sunday at 7:40 p.m.
Wow, even after watching both of those horrific games. I mean, I could see it. Maybe you add like 3.5 because it's home, and then you add 6 because it's the Packers versus the Bears. But I mean, still,
Let's see what CBS has it as.
yeah. CBS will be probably a better one here,
Packers minus 11.5.
brother.
And they're Chicago's plus 475 money line. Minus 700 for Green Bay. Green Bay's team isn't that
Brother.
good.
What the
But
fuck? The
also
Bears are being disrespected. If
but also
anyone has CBS like for gambling, bet that the Bears are covering that spread.
minus 11.5 is a lot of points.
That is a ton of points,
Yeah.
especially when the Bears actually held their own, against San Fran. I know whatever
my
as
God.
much that you want to say, but like the Bears held their own against a great running team.
Yeah,
And they also beat a great defensive team. So, yeah, I'd be running straight to the bank with all the money that I'd lay on the Bears to cover this money line or cover this spread. Sorry. You looking for like the Monday night games now?
No, I accidentally closed the tab to the schedule.
Loser.
Yeah, no, I'm an idiot. Okay, forgive me, please. We got 2 Monday night games.
Yeah, this is the double Monday night header.
So Tennessee at Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo every which way, upside down, sideways. But let's kind of check the line here. Bills Titans. What do we think that it's at?
Bills -6.
I think Bills minus 5.5. I'm gonna say here. Where'd he go? Am I crazy? Titans, Bills. I see here.
Wait, what the fuck?
Just scroll down for it.
No, go up because that was just Vikings Eagles.
Oh, I didn't.
Go on. Yeah. Right.
There it is. Minus 10. No, minus 7.5.
Ah.
But the latest odds, it says Buffalo Bills minus 10. The opening line was minus 7.5, and I think things have changed.
Opening it's now shifted to -10. My God.
Yeah. I still am taking Buffalo because they're just a much more. They're electrifying on both sides.
Yeah.
I think their defensive line can hold up, at least, stabilize Derrick Henry. So,
agreed.
Vikings Eagles. This one's gonna be close.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a good.
I think this is gonna be a really good game.
Yeah, I think Jefferson's gonna have a really really nice matchup against whoever he's on, Bradbury or Slay.
Yeah,
he has his pick of the crop.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Eagles are -2. I would just pick maybe like an alternate spread or something like that, or like,
maybe try and get like the Eagles at a plus.
Yeah, I don't even know, but like I think this line is. I can see this line being correct. I think they're a little bit more well-rounded than the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see any team winning this.
Yeah, no, I definitely can too.
Eagles are the home team. I'm gonna say the Eagles win this. I think they cover, but I think it'll be, or maybe it'll be a push. I could see it being like down
win
1
by 2 and kick
game
for a
1.
field
Jake
goal.
Elliott kicks a game-winning field goal, something like that. This is gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to this one. But who's your pick for?
I'd definitely go Eagles as well, just because it's in their stadium.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard for Minnesota to kind of. I don't want to say it's gonna be hard for them because holy fuck, like Jefferson could fucking eat.
Yeah,
like, and it could be so bad.
What is a game or a couple that you're looking forward to as we kind of wind down this episode?
I'm looking forward to Seattle versus the 49ers.
Yeah.
I have been on this ship saying like the Seattle Seahawks are going to play every team in their division hard, and one that they always play hard is the 49ers.
Yeah.
And seeing as how the 49ers didn't play that well, I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see the Bengals at the Cowboys.
See, I would have been excited for that one if Dak was playing.
I'm still excited for that one because I think that might be my survivor pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just
That's
because fair. Cooper Rush fucking sucks. And then, I mean, I don't know how you can't be excited for everyone getting so hype about the Buccaneers saying that they're going to finally beat the Saints. Come on. We know this. It's the regular season. Tom Brady's gonna have like another dud against New Orleans. It's just it's gonna happen. Knock on wood, touch wood, whatever the fuck you want to say. It's
I
gonna be an awesome game to wake up
I
to.
do agree that I think the Saints are winning. I think they're gonna split at home. Um, like I think they each win their home matchups against each other.
So what is it? Saints minus 3.5 for the line. That's what I'm saying.
You think Saint
They're just
Bucks
gonna.
are -3?
Well, I mean, putting the Saints in a money line parlay here.
But I'm excited for Dolphins Ravens. I think those teams are pretty evenly matched here. I think the Dolphins slightly outweigh the Ravens, but I think
Really? You think the Dolphins slightly outweigh
just
the Ravens?
as a team, offense and defense overall, I think.
Yeah,
But
still.
but I think
Okay.
quarterback play favors Baltimore
I'm not even talking
heavier.
about quarterback play. I'm just saying on all aspects of the game.
No, but I just think that I think they're pretty even.
Well, we shall see.
But I think um yeah, I don't know. What's the line here?
Ravens minus 3.5.
Ravens
No, Ravens minus 4.5.
Ravens -3.5. You're right.
Ugh.
Um, I think the Dolphins can win this game.
You want to put a little wager on it?
Um, but I think they will cover, at least.
All right.
I think the Dolphins cover. And then, but I think that's going to be a good game. And then I'm also excited for Tampa, New Orleans, because that's always a classic. And then no other matchup really moves the needle for me. Maybe Cardinals Raiders. Maybe.
Chandler
But
Jones revenge game.
yeah, but that would have been better. But let's wrap this up. We've gone for almost 2 hours. But Hayden, where can people find you?
At Instagram and Twitter, Hayden _Barton.
And you guys know where to follow the show at Left Side Heavy on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Left Side Heavy _ that is. Follow me on Instagram at Jevon.Lefave, Twitter at JevonLefave. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and leave a rating and review anywhere you get your podcasts. Really helps grow the show. That is your week 1 post wrap up, whatever you want to call it. And there's a little bit of a week 2 preview there. Fantasy studs and duds coming at you next week as well. Maybe there'll be a guest, maybe there won't. Kind of a we're an on the fly type of crew here. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Peace.